Yes.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, the wrestling show. We're keeping it real. Goes right. Welcome back to Real Take Wrestle Talk Live here on YouTube. As always, it's me. It's El Jefe of Real Take LLC. Joined as always by the Trevster, the Trev Meister. I don't know. What are we gonna call you? Welcome,
Ah,
Trevor.
hello.
We got a wonderful show planned for you guys today. We'll be talking about the massive WWE cuts that just took place, that took the careers, the WWE careers, I should say, of Keith Lee, Nia Jax, Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux, and more. We're also going to be talking about AEW Full Gear. We got a separate preview show for that. It's going to be a very WWE heavy show, but we will do a separate AEW Full Gear preview show later on this week. So subscribe to our YouTube channel for that. Also, we're going to be talking about some big news out of the world of the UFC. UFC 268 this weekend, and good old Snowflake Covington.
Favorite person.
God, no, we'll talk about him too. And yeah, and everything in between. So guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you're watching or listening, I should say, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a follow and leave us 5-star review. Also, people in the chat, please ask your questions. We will be looking through those as the night goes on. Trevor, we start today, however, with, I want to say it's sad news, but it's definitely not unexpected at this point. We're going to start with the massive, utterly massive cuts that took place this week in WWE. In case you've been living under a rock, WWE has this thing where every time they do a quarterly call where they tout profits, they release people. So here's what we're going to do. We'll get into some of the more specifics of each case. I did a video reacting to it earlier on this week, so you guys can check that out in the archives. But Trevor, I'm going to read out the names, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Absolutely.
So this week, WWE let go of Keith Lee, Frankie Monet, Ember Moon, Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux, Grand Metalik, Nia Jax, Harry Smith, Mia Yim, Eva Marie, B Fab from Hit Row, which you really like destroyed that group at this point, Oni Larkin, and Lindsay Dorado. There were also more NXT talent, including G Drama and others, let go, but those are the more prominent talents. Some of these people, like Harry Smith and Eva Marie, were brought back earlier this summer, so their releases are come to a surprise to some people. But it's also worth to note that while the company line was about these releases was that these were budget cuts, in the investor call, literally like an hour before all these cuts were announced, they touted a returning record profits and over $250 million in quarterly revenue on the investor call right before these cuts. So take that how you may. Trevor, I already reacted to these. What is your reaction to these cuts?
Because you mentioned it to me, the first person to mention it to me. Then because I saw something about it. I saw like someone behind the scenes got released, and then they also said later on that day wrestlers were going to be released, and I was like, God damn it again! Like, what the hell? And what's funny and kind of sad was I was just talking about how Keith Lee wasn't used on TV. I just talked about it in the last show.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't shock me, but at this point it's just sad. It's just sad. It just makes it no sense. And the same fucking reason is the same thing you keep telling these people: budget cuts. You're full of shit, and even they know you're full of shit. They're not stupid. They know it's bogus. Like, if you're not going to respect me enough to tell me why, like, I don't want to have anything to do with you in the first place. It's just getting ridiculous. It's getting super ridiculous.
Yeah, and it seems like this is just going to continue. We'll talk in the later segment about what we could see happen down the line, but this is the new normal. Yeah. WWE every quarter is going to have a call where they tout record profits, and they're going to talk about how we have made strides in innovating the land of entertainment, and we have made so much money for our investors. And then they're going to cut talent that they're not using, or in some cases they are using, that they have allegedly plans for, and that's just how it is. And there are a lot of people who will say, well, oh, why are you are a WWE hate, you just hate WWE. Yeah,
No,
you know what? You know what? I hate the way the company is run. I hate the way
absolutely.
the creative is run. I hate the way that they just let go of talent while touting record profits, when even companies, like, say what you want about Sinclair Broadcasting shutting down Ring of Honor, throughout the entire pandemic, they did not run a single show, and they still had everyone under contract and nobody missed a paycheck.
Yep.
Say what you want about AEW, you can think it's the shittiest pro wrestling show in the world, right? And you were entitled to that opinion. But they not only did they not cut people during the pandemic, they hired more people and they
Hmm.
showcased independent talent
Yep.
every single week. So you can say what you want. The fact that the biggest, most profitable wrestling company in the world was not able to keep these people employed. And a lot of people, here's the thing. You know what the thing we talk about? We get lost in big names like Ember Moon, Nia Jax, and Keith Lee, and we will get to them. But you know who gets lost in these? You know, they weren't the only ones who were cut because of these budget cuts, Trevor. There were
Yep.
also people who worked at corporate who don't
Yep.
make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. There were people who were cut who make, probably like, not going to say minimum wage, but they make just barely enough to get by in given their situations. Who would probably let go and who don't have unlimited funds. They were also let go from corporate WWE. These are the things you don't hear about. So for you to be the most I feel like I've said this so many times, and I'm not even getting annoyed about saying this. I just don't care about saying it anymore because it feels like it's not making a difference.
Nope.
You are the most profitable wrestling company in the entire world, yet every other wrestling company below you, or the two major ones in the United States, were able to keep everyone employed, and you, the ones who are touting record profits, on the same day you're touting these record profits, you let go, like, all these people. It's so tone deaf. It's disrespectful, and you know, all again, storylines, creative, all that BS aside, it's scummy. It is just utterly
It,
scummy, and it,
it,
it and it doesn't make me. I'm sorry, just I'll finish in a second, but it doesn't make me,
take your time.
as a wrestling fan, as a fan of what WWE does sometimes, it doesn't make me, like, endeared to your company. Like, if you think that I'm going to, like, happily be team WWE, then no, because you treat everyone like crap, because everyone's just a cog in a machine. And the thing is, like, they always like to say, "Oh, we're a family. We're a family. WWE's a family." That narrative is done after all of these cuts. I said it 2 cuts ago. That's the funny thing, or the sad thing. I said this 2 cuts ago. The family narrative, that WWE's a family, it's BS. It's even more BS than it was 2 years ago. And yeah, I got nothing else to say about that.
I mean, if it's a family, it's a very dysfunctional family, and like it's just getting worse. Like you said, the first name that I heard, I wasn't a wrestler. It was someone in corporate, someone behind bars, behind behind the scenes,
Behind bars.
and behind bars. I mean, my bad.
Could
Um, Bars go with behind anyway. It was it was behind the scenes, and I'm like okay. Then again, I heard they're taking wrestlers out too, and I was like, it's just getting ridiculous. It's just getting too. It's getting worse. You know what I mean? Because it's not just wrestlers. It's just in everybody, and it's not just good talent. It's newer talent. It's talent that's just scratched the surface. Like that came here for their big break, and their big break is going back to fuck home because they just got cut.
Yep.
It makes no
Um,
sense.
mhm. Just some notes on these cuts from what we've learned over the past few days since these cuts happened. There were apparently no creative plans for both Nia Jax nor Eva Marie.
Okay.
Keith Lee was reportedly cut for quote unquote attitude problems. And there were also like the Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik cuts. Those are in part due to the fact that I believe Grand Metalik already he wanted to get released. He asked them
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
about getting released earlier. And Lindsay Dorado is reportedly also not happy with the company. Those were two that were granted. Um, there's also, speculation. Again, no reports of speculation that the BFAB cut was due to the fact that she was not as good in the ring as maybe some other people, which we'll get to that in a second because I think you cut BFAB, you're cutting the legs out of Hit Row from under them
yeah.
because she could have. Again, this is Let's get to the BFAB thing right now because I this one
Yeah,
this one
let's go
it's a
BFAB. Yeah,
surprising one. It's a surprising one that people don't talk about enough. But this is the same. So they cut BFAB, right, and BFAB was basically the mouthpiece for Hit Row, which I
yeah,
think a new established group that they were trying to bring up and get over. Not only, right? Not only do you cut the person who's supposed to be the mouthpiece for this group because she's not as good a wrestler apparently. Like that's the thing. And okay, yeah, she has a long way to go as a wrestler. I'm not debating that. But it's the same company that had Leo Rush as
exactly.
as a valet. They paid Leo Rush to be a valet, and Leo Rush is like one of the best in-ring performers in the world. And yes, he
Yeah,
can talk, but you're telling me B-Fab didn't have a place in WWE? Like that seems just outrageous.
yeah. It didn't make any sense. Like you have some people that have never stepped in the ring before, but it was nothing but managers and had a long career in WWE. Like, and you're gonna tell me the reason you cut her because she wasn't good in the ring. Eva Marie was part of your stable. No, not taking anything away from Eva Marie, but part of your, and she wasn't the best wrestler. So please, enlighten me on more bullshit.
Goddamn, pal, got to push Mandy Rose. I mean, this is. I'm trying to make this a fun segment. It's really not. Trevor, I have another question for you. What is the most surprising release? What was the most surprising release in this recent batch? I want to say of cuts.
Well, like I said, he wasn't really that surprising, so I'm not really going to mention him because I hadn't seen him on TV in a while. But Nia Jax, I would have to say Nia is probably one of the bigger ones. Nia and Ember Moon, actually,
Mm,
for me, are two of the ones because, well, Nia just had the belts not long ago, had the
yeah.
tag belts, and same thing with Ember Moon. And I thought at one point they were trying to put her in a title picture, and it seemed like they were pushing her for that, and she was doing great in NXT. So I mean, again, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the most surprising one I think by far is Nia Jax, and it has little to do even like with what she's been doing recently. Nia Jax for the past I want to say almost over a half decade. Like she's been there since what 2015. She has been
It's funny because I think she is.
yeah, she's been arguably the most protected, maybe like other than like Brock Lesnar. She's been like one of the most protected entities on that entire roster. Vince McMahon Vince McMahon turned Nia Jax into a legitimate threat. She was a threat when she faced Ronda Rousey. She was a threat when she faced anyone whenever she held the belts. And that took a lot of investment of time. That took a lot of investment of storylines and what have you. And for them to, just kind of like on a dime, just let her go, it really does, I think, open this up to even bigger. Like I know we said this with the Bray Wyatt thing, but even Bray Wyatt, that you could tell that was kind of floundering where it was going, and
Right, right.
with the way creative was going, and the fact that he wasn't on TV. Nia Jax was just on TV like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Like that, and she, like you said, not too long ago, held the WWE women's tag team titles, and she was a prominent member of Raw. She was on Raw every single week, had a prime segment on Raw every single week. So for Nia Jax to be let go after everything WWE did to protect her and everything, it really is weird. And look, there's a whole conversation about Nia Jax and her as a wrestler and whether or not she's safe and all that stuff. We're not going to get into that specifically. I just think that's the most surprising one because of the fact that Vince just was so hands-on with her. And for the same reason, I think the Keith Lee thing is just almost as surprising. I would say he's probably number 2 on my most surprising list because Vince McMahon, like, he wanted him to be
Yeah,
the Bearcat Keith Lee. Like, this would be Vince McMahon pet project that he had a complete oversight on, and now where is it going? Who knows?
I think
Not
Karrion
going to
Cross was one.
WWE. Yeah.
Oh no, I think Karrion Cross was one of those too. Because I
Mm.
mean, they were so gung ho to put the
I
belt
don't
on
know,
him.
man.
Man,
Three repackages in the
yeah,
main
yeah,
roster.
it's so weird though. But see, the second repackage in NXT wasn't really a repackage. It was he got hurt and came back. You know what I mean? So that really wasn't a repackage. But I mean, it's just they were so gung ho to take the belt off Keith Lee and put it on him. Then unfortunately he got hurt. He came back. They rushed to put the belt back on him. Then they take the belt off him. Then they put him in on Raw and then his second repackage, and it's just terrible. It was, and then like you're like, okay, you're gonna use him, you're gonna do something with him. No, you're not. Okay, well,
Yeah. It's just sad. I mean, the other thing that comes to mind with the whole Karrion Cross thing is, like, so you know who they let go of? They also let go of Karrion Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux, who are I believe engaged. Then they
yeah, I think
also
they
let
are,
go of Keith Lee, I should say, and Mia Yim,
yeah,
who I also believe are engaged.
yeah.
And they let go of Taya Valkyrie, who is married to, I believe, John Morrison. So like there are like familial ties being like severely hurt. I want to say, I don't even know what the right words are. It's just it is just when you think it can't get any more sleazy or scummy, it just seems to get worse.
The Top Valkyrie thing made no sense either. They literally just signed her, not long ago, and used her for like twice.
They just signed her. They repackaged her. She had her little puppy, which I thought was cute, and it's like one of the only things on NXT I was like actually paying attention to. Well, that, no, of course, Dexter Loomis, because my God, but I I don't even know, man. Last question about this, Trevor. Given how prominently used some of these people were, given how frequently they were just on TV, what message does this recent batch of cuts send to wrestling fans?
Again, I think I said this last time. Don't get too attached. Expect unexpected. Like I mean, like it, and also it also shows that they don't really give a shit. Like I mean, if just in case you didn't know before, they don't care. They really don't care. They put them on TV, and then 2 weeks later they're gone. They don't care if if they're fan favorite, people like them. They don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. Like they're gone, and honestly, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame.
Yeah, I mean the prevailing moral or morale. I don't even want the prevailing like message of these cuts is WWE fans do not pay attention to the product, because there's a huge chance that things that you like and that might keep you watching the show won't matter, because one, we don't have an ending for it, and two, that person might not be here. I think Bray Wyatt for you and me was like a huge was a huge example of that, because one of the sole reasons that I stayed watching Raw every week was for Bray Wyatt stuff. That's one of the sole reasons. When he got let go, I almost gave up. Like I legitimately almost gave up. I was just like, okay, there's no reason for me to watch. Like I'm not gonna watch. Like no offense to Eva Marie or whatever, but the way she's being used, I'm not gonna watch Eva Marie. I don't care about the Lily doll. I don't care about Randy Orton cutting a 15-minute promo to begin Raw. Talk about like reeling him in, man. It's like, how do we reel him in, pal? We're gonna send Randy out there. It's like, oh, you want to send him out there for 5 minutes, boss? No, send him out there for 30 minutes. For a match, right? No. He's going to give him the mic and let him talk about. Let me say. Like, it is just I convulsed there for a second. But I just convulsed there for a second. I'm sorry.
You did.
No. It's Vince McMahon's spirit. Like, he's starting to possess me. Halloween is not over, friends. But no, in all seriousness, Like, so there's that, the Bearcat lead thing, like the Bearcat Keith Lee thing. People wanted to see, like, I was interested to see, okay, where is this going? Where is this Keith Lee, heel turn going? Done. Okay, cool. Hit Row, this new group. All right, let's see what Hit Row is gonna be on the main roster. BFAB's out. All right, who's gonna talk?
Yeah,
like who's gonna talk? All right, cool.
It's not Swerve Scott.
Mia Yim, another person who everyone was so excited for, and then she gets cut from Retribution. Don't see her for a year, and she's gone.
Yep.
Like, it's like, what do I say to this? Like, I don't see, and that's the thing. The thing I keep hearing about all the time from people who are huge WWE fans is, let it play out. Let it play out. See where it goes. And I feel like I've been very patient about that. But when everything I care about seemingly like just gets thrown to the wayside or isn't there or they don't do their best to try to keep certain people that majority of wrestling fans like, what message that's sending me? It's sending me like, okay, nothing on here matters, therefore I shouldn't watch. Why would I watch something on a weekly basis that's supposed to be rooted in storyline if it's not rooted in storyline because nothing matters? Like, I don't think that's not like an outrageous claim to make, that very little to nothing matters in WWE. That's just truth.
Yeah, at this point, it's absolutely true. I mean, I feel like the same way with Malachi Black. Like, he was in the middle of a storyline. They repackaged him. He was coming out, and then they cut him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we'll get to the chat questions and comments in a second because there are some good ones. I see Greg Metz fan is here. Welcome, Greg. And actually, let's get to those right now. And then I have one more note about these releases specifically I want to talk about. So CC is here, says, yo, welcome CC. Since the edits is also here, imagine cutting BFAB, he says. He also says, might as well get rid of Hit Row. They aren't the same without BFAB, which is exactly what I've been saying. Yep, they're not the same. CC also says, I got a question. WTF WWE? Fair question. CC also says, it's not budget cuts. They're cleaning house. They very well could be. CC also says they got rid of Nia Jax, who was taking time away for mental health, and when asked for an extension on her time off, they released her just after her asking. They played her and everyone. I mean, they play their fans all the time, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah. Cincy Edit says in the SpongeBob chicken meme voice, Mandy Rose joins Hit Row. I don't think I did that right, but they're close enough. Cincy also says Bengals didn't claim OBJ. Then again, that's probably a good thing. I think it wouldn't hurt. It would not hurt having OBJ. The LSU connection would have been deep. Actually, you guys can still get him. The LSU connection runs deep, man. OBJ will be happy, I think.
I thought he went to the Rams.
Did he really? I didn't even know that.
What was that, Cap? I don't know. That might have been Cap.
Cap? Kaepernick? Nunny?
No, it might have been fake. That's what I'm saying.
I think it might have been like a prediction. I was about to say Kaepernick to the Rams. Oh shit! Oh, get Fox News is gonna be over there. It's like, does LA hate America? Yes. Anyway, let's continue this. Greg Metz says, "Damn, chickadee chicken, damn."
All right.
A winner is you, friend. CC says, they giveth and taketh away. They've been doing a lot of taking away lately. Greg Metz also says, just curious if you have received my shipment of bacon strips. I have not received your shipment of bacon strips, and I appreciate gifts. However, if you're going to send anyone bacon strips, you should send them Trevor's way. Trevor's way. He probably likes them more.
Sure.
Since he says... Talking about Odell, he passed on waivers. Anyone can sign him now, and I will be talking about Odell and some possible landing spots for him tomorrow night on Real Take Sports Talk. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to stay updated on that. Hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos release. Also, smash that like button. Everyone in the chat helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow, and helps me, keep a high sense of self-esteem. So please help me out with that. Thank you for all those questions in the chat. We will circle back to the chat very soon, probably. Trevor, there's another thing. So so Keith Lee released a statement about his release. And in the statement, he cleared up some misconceptions. So there was apparently, I don't know whether or not this was floating around, there was a misconception about who paid for his medical bills. And that was something specific that Keith Lee cleared up. And he said basically that, so just so everyone knows, I paid for my own medical bills
I figured
for,
he did.
yeah, for that whole time he was dealing with that life-threatening condition earlier this year. That's why he was off TV. And it has a lot of people saying like, why did WWE not pay for his medical bills? Given
Exactly.
how serious that was, especially considering they claim everyone who's with WWE is a family, right?
The family. It's absolute family.
But what do you kind of make of that, like of that whole situation?
Uh, I mean, it doesn't paint WWE in a good light. Shit. I mean, none of what we're talking about paints him in a good light. But especially him being hurt because he was hurt doing wrestling, wasn't he? Or was it a COVID situation?
No, no, no. Remember, it was like I think he had a heart condition they discovered, and
That's
it was
right. That's right. That's right.
exacerbated. It was exacerbated by COVID. So it
That's right.
was
Okay.
so it was like it was like kind of like outside the ring thing, but he couldn't compete because they weren't sure if his heart was going to be stable at that time, given where he was in his recovery. So, but I've heard different takes on this. Legally, they're not, they don't
They're not
have to
obligated,
because of
right?
they're not obligated to legally. Then again, legally, you could argue that they shouldn't be like independent contractors. Wrestlers shouldn't be independent contractors. We'll get into that in just a second. But if you're asking me from a just outside looking in, I think any side looking in, it's just this seems shitty. Like
Yeah.
this guy literally almost died, and you guys didn't even offer apparently to pay medical bills that
That's
he probably incurred, and that he probably, I don't know what his situation was with making money during that time. I'm not sure what their policy is, because I know in the past it's been you don't show up, you don't get paid.
paid. Yeah.
But but it's everything. It just, again, I just want to reiterate this to WWE fans. Everything's coming from the operational standpoint of this company just screams scummy and crappy to me. Like
Yeah.
nothing tells me that either it's
They
even the illusion of we care about these people.
they don't look good at all. I mean, like I said, they not painted in a good light at all.
Well, I hope you guys paint me in a good light in the chat. So hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Trevor, let's move on. Kind of stick with releases. So this was an interesting report from Dave Meltzer, a big old tuna Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer Radio. So Dave Meltzer said of potentially more cuts that could happen. Of all the people that were cut, there were probably about 10 others that were in strong discussion about being cut. Pretty much everyone that was not being used, well, was on the bubble, and they were considering cutting those people. He also went on to say that all these guys, again, they are trying to get younger. They, being WWE, are trying to get younger. Before, the idea was that NXT was going to be this touring brand, and they were looking for guys that could be good workers and to have really good road shows. Now that's not the idea. The idea is to get young. So that's what Dave Meltzer had to say about this whole situation. What's your reaction to, I guess, this idea of WWE wanting to get younger and potentially cutting some older NXT talent?
Well, they pretty much came out and said this. This is something that has been said by them before. They wanted different. They wanted to go a different way. They wanted younger, more, I guess, up and coming talent. And like I mean, you can only assume that the what they're going to do is cut talent or send them to WWE. I mean, send them to Raw or SmackDown. So I mean, it's not really a surprise. It still sucks, but yeah. I mean, but you need some veteran talent on NXT. You can't have all these just new indie wrestlers. I mean, some of them are just have natural talent and are really good, but like, what about the ones that aren't? That still need somebody in the ring to work with. What are you going to do? Get like a 2-year vet to teach him? Like what one of the better wrestlers could teach him.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, who are these people going to work with The way you get
Right.
better, if you don't know how to wrestle, right? I understand they have like this performance center and the best trainers, quote unquote, that money can buy, right? But at the end of the day, in order for you to do a job, right? I could speak into a microphone and being coached about speaking into a microphone all day, like as much as I want, right? Until I go out there and do it, and do it with maybe someone else or whatever, I'm not going to like become that good at it. They're like you need that experience level. If the better your opponent is, the more experienced your opponent is, the better you're going to get at wrestling, because you're going to pick up on things.
Right.
They're going to help you realize things. They're going to work with you. You're going to learn how to work. That's how this is supposed to happen. That's the process of learning a new trade or a new skill or what have you. But it just seems like they just want people to be working with younger people. So Braun Breaker and Von Wagner are going to be working with each other, which is great.
Right.
That could mean that few. Okay, genuinely, Braun Breaker, and Von Wagner, as crazy as it sounds, actually could end up main eventing WrestleMania one day. Like, and both of them
We
have
could.
the potential to do it, but they're not going to have the potential to do it if they don't go out and work with people who have been in there and done these things. And if
Right.
WWE's whole thing is we're going to be releasing a lot of these older talent in NXT, because look, like Braun Breaker right now, he can't work with Bobby Roode and all these other people who are on the
Right.
main roster
Right.
because those people are touring. NXT is in Full Sail or wherever they are. They're in Florida, right? So so that's the situation. You need that. Like even Goldberg in WCW, when WCW was pushing Goldberg, what did they do, Trevor? They put him in the ring with William Regal, who was an
Yep.
experienced, very, very good technical wrestler, great hand, quote unquote, whatever you want to say. But the guy was experienced at that point, knows how to work. So I think you should, if you want to build stars up, you should need to have that older talent there that is going to elevate these younger guys that they can beat and get better at wrestling at and also get over with. Like that's how you build stars. Like and I understand like you can't have everyone like wrestle like Tommaso or Ciampa, right? Because then you're like, unless you want Tommaso Ciampa to just be a job guy, like you
Right.
need to have older talent. Like Bobby Fish would have fit very well into that role because that's basically what he's doing in AEW. Bobby
Pretty
Fish,
much.
he's losing to younger people. He's losing to younger people, and he's getting great performances out of younger people. But and no one looks bad. Like you can do it in a way where Bobby Fish doesn't lose credibility. But the way they're doing it now, I don't get it. I don't get it. It seems off to me. It seems wrong. And it just seems like the way they're presenting some of these guys, I don't like it. And
No.
look, the reality is there are going to be more cuts. We talked about there are going to be more cuts. I promise you. And unfortunately, I hate predicting this, but it's true. When the quarter four meeting comes out, whenever in December or whenever it is, there are going to be people that are cut. That is at this point it's not a prediction, as Paul Heyman would say. It's a spoiler. There are probably
Yep.
going to be
Pretty
people that are
much.
cut, and there are probably going to be some big names. And I'm not going to speculate on who exactly those names could be. I'm sure everyone on the internet will, and you guys can. But it's just sad. It's just sad, man. Like
It
the
really
fact
is.
that we know it's coming now too. We know it's coming.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It is.
Yeah. You know what else is ridiculous?
Everything.
You want who? We're getting like we're just burying WWE for the first like three quarters of the show. Um, you know what
As we
else is
should.
ridiculous? Have you heard about this Chelsea Green situation?
No, I don't think I have. No.
This was bad, man. This was actually really bad. So imagine this, right? Actually, I'll just read out this. I'll read it. I'll read out the report, and we'll kind of go from there. So
Gotcha.
there's a situation with Chelsea Green. So after her release, Green obviously agreed to a deal with Ring of Honor, and she was released from WWE. She goes to Ring of Honor, and she was at Best in the World, and there was a lot of news and buzz about it back in July, and it was cool, right? WWE had
Right.
cleared Green to work the event because it was like think a few days before her non-compete was up, but they cleared it. They were like, cool, okay, so everything's cool, no hard feelings, and then Chelsea Green actually on her podcast said this quote, When I debuted at Ring of Honor this summer, someone at the top of NXT of the NXT food chain called them to tell them that they should not hire me. So
Wow.
let me just get this straight. She goes on here. Let me get this straight. When I got fired from WWE, someone at the top of the NXT food chain called the company who was about to hire me to help me provide food for my family and for myself and told them not to hire me. That's exactly what Chelsea Green just said. And when you think about this,
That's wrong.
scummy gets scummier and
Yeah.
scummier. That's just wrong, right?
That's douchebag level. That's scumbag level. Put it like that. That's why would you do that? Like, that's just WWE showing how petty they are and how they really do business.
Well, I mean, that's just like, I feel like that's also a thing in a wrestling business. The wrestling business in general is just petty in nature.
Oh, it
This
is.
is
It
the
is. It definitely
This is the
is.
same business that had a wrestler's court, and which by the way, I understand when you think about it, it's the dumbest thing ever.
Oh yeah, it
Okay,
makes no sense.
you insulted the boys. So in order to make up for that, what do you have to do? Okay, so do I have to buy like something for the boys? No, 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 no. You have to buy JBL a 6-pack, or you have to buy the Undertaker a bottle of tequila. Like no, 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 don't give anything to everyone or the people who were
Just one
directly
person.
insulted. No, just one person at the top. The
Yeah, it
boys,
makes great sense.
but I mean, it's like that type of toxic culture that it's weird. It's just weird. Like it's one thing, right, if you're not going to go out on a limb and say that, oh, this is someone who you should hire, right? No one's entitled to be your reference, right? No one, like, you're not entitled for everyone to be your reference. That's fine. But if someone does debut or someone is about to hire another talent and you go out of your way to try to get them not hired or try to defame them in any way, and look, there's no evidence that Chelsea Green did anything in her time to piss someone off, to legitimize that, to
Right.
be worthy of being told that. Like, so it just rings as just bad manners. I don't even think it's bad manners. It's just the shitty thing to do. It
Yeah,
is
it
just
is.
a bad thing to do because okay, it's one thing you can't work. Okay, I can't work in WWE. Sure. You're telling me I can't work in Ring of Honor? You're telling okay,
Sure.
where else can I work? I can't work in AEW. I can't work in AAA. Like so,
Can't
you're
work anywhere
basically
in this fight.
saying no, no, no. You should not have a job in wrestling because we don't think you're good enough. And we don't have and we're gonna do whatever we can to try to exert what little authority we have in trying. And I'm not saying WWE corporate or anyone's involved in this. Whoever, it's just one specific person in NXT. It it could be a lot of people. It could be someone who thinks he's a sexy boy. It could be someone who is a very smiley boy. It could be a lot of people. It could be a train. It could be a train.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of people,
Yes, it could be.
but I don't know. It's crappy.
It's stupid. Oh, dumb. Makes no sense.
You remember that? Remember the diesel?
I do. Yeah. Big Daddy Cool.
Oh, my name is Kane, and I am a Rudy Poo.
Yeah.
Oh God, dog. The Rock can never run for president. I swear.
No.
Anyone who like the Rock 2024, Rock 2028. It's a pipe dream. He's never gonna be able to run for president. Anyway, guys. It's okay because we don't want to run for president. You guys can hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever one of our very entertaining videos is released. Also, be sure to smash that like button because it helps out the algorithm, helps the channel grow, all that jazz. Ask your questions in the chat. We'll get to those questions in just a second. Yeah, Trevor, do you want to take this round of questions?
Sure. Let's go. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
can start at bacon and pickles, LOL, from CC.
Okay. Yeah, CC, bacon and pickles. Oh well. The AEW guy. Does he still live with Drake? I'm thinking he's talking about Odell.
Oh my God.
MK Osborne. Leaning out. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this. Leading out for
Sound it out, Trevor.
I think it meant looking out for stockholders. Yeah, leading out for stockholders, either a buyout or entertainment merger. I mean, it could be that.
NBC. It could. I think very well could be a merger with
It could be
NBC.
that. I mean, I would at this point I wouldn't bought that out. They MK Osborne again. They treat them as contract labor. That's pretty much what they are. And at this stage in it, I feel that's what they use them for. Since the edits goes, Braun Breaker is cool. I actually do like Braun Breaker since
Braun Breaker. I am Braun Breaker. I am Braun Breaker, and I will break your bones.
Why does he always sound like a discount Arnold Schwarzenegger every time you do Braun Breaker?
It's Braun Breaker. He will break your bones. Can I just, you know what I want? I want Braun Breaker to literally just come out and completely appropriate, take over the Hulk Hogan gimmick. That would make me happy. I would be the biggest Braun Breaker fan ever. I would buy every single piece of merch that ever came out. I would go to every single show I was able to go to see Braun Breaker. Like,
that's hilarious.
Like that will legitimately make me a Braun Breaker, a Brawnomaniac. Brawnomania is running wild.
As long as you come out with a food place, we're good.
Could you imagine his first promo on the main roster? Like, you have Kevin Patrick, one of those guys, like asking him questions, just like, Braun, how's it feel to be on the main roster? And he goes, well, you know something, brother. I'd pop, just pop, because
I would cry.
That's the thing. Like, no one can do that. Like if you're ever cutting a wrestling promo ever, you cannot start your promos with that. It's like, you cannot start your promos with, you know something, brother. Which I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen Legends of Wrestling? Like, it was like this terrible show terrible wrestling show from like the late '90s, and it was like supposed to be bringing together the past, the stars rather of the past, and it was so trash. It was great. Like, and there was some jabro, and I don't know, no idea who that guy was, but in the middle of the show, like, he just starts cutting a promo. They're like he's like this newcomer in this Legends of Wrestling show, right? It's a complete newcomer comes on here, and he goes like, "What do you think about your match tonight?" And he just goes, "Well, you know something, brother." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, immediately, like, your career is over, my friend.
You're already terrible, sir.
God. Anyway, guys, again, hit that like button and subscribe, all that jazz. We will get to keep the chat questions coming. We love to hear from it. You know what else I love though, Trevor? Or I used to love Survivor Series. It used to be one of my favorite pay-per-views.
Yeah, mine too. It was one of my first pay-per-views to go see.
Excuse me, Trevor, while I just rant for a second, because this really grinds my gears.
Please.
Trevor, how do I don't even know how to say. I do know how to say this. Trevor, Survivor Series sucks.
Oh, it's
Survivor Series flat out sucks. It sucks in everything. And everything about it is terrible. It's no longer a Big Four pay-per-view. This whole battle of brand supremacy is meaningless because everyone just changes brands every few months anyway. The fact that you don't have qualifying matches, there's no build up to it. There's no story really about it. It sucks. And you know what else? The reason it hurt so bad for people who've watched wrestling for a while, the reason it hurt so bad was Survivor Series used to be a pay-per-view all on its own. It used to be something exciting because not only was it different and a different way to kind of end some big-time feuds, but it had the feel of a Big Four pay-per-view. Survivor Series now is just bragging rights. Like, literally bragging rights, the pay-per-view from the 2010-11 era of WWE that nobody watched. It has gotten to a point where Money in the Bank is a Big Four pay-per-view. Like, the Big Four pay-per-views, make no bones about it. It's Money in the Bank, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam. Yep. Survivor Series is not. The best of the best, like, gimmick or whatever they're giving it, it's not. Because nobody cares about it. You are having meaningless battles of brand supremacy that don't mean anything. Like, this is a pay-per-view that you used to be able to end feuds at. Yep. You used to be able to culminate year-long feuds at. Like, I remember the days of Kurt Angle, Team Angle versus Team Lesnar. You used to have Stone Team Austin versus Team Bischoff. That 2003 Survivor Series, by the way, one of the best of all time. And it would culminate careers. Stone Cold Steve Austin's career officially ended at Survivor Series 2003 in a great match, and people cared. People watched. It's not even a shell of its former self. It's lost any resemblance to its former self. Because it doesn't matter. There are no stakes. It'd be one thing, Trevor, if like Team SmackDown, if they won, they get, the number 30 entrant or whatever. Or the 4 people on Team SmackDown get to compete to be the number 30 entrant in Royal Rumble. That would put stakes on this. That's how you could make it mean something. This meaningless BS brand supremacy is just, it's sad. As someone who loved this pay-per-view growing up, my first, and the reason I think it hurts for me specifically is my first pay-per-view that I watched and I remember watching and really turning to become a wrestling fan was Survivor Series 2003. That was the buried live match of The Undertaker and Vince. That was Team Angle versus Team Brock, like I mentioned. And you look at those Survivor Series years and you look at this and it's just, it's a throwaway of a throwaway pay-per-view. This is not even a B pay-per-view. This is like a C. It doesn't matter. It's not canon. It doesn't matter. Trevor, what has happened in Survivor Series? What has happened?
I'm gonna whip my whistle. As you said, so Survivor Series is one of my favorite because, I said briefly, this was my first pay-per-view that I went to. My first live show was a Survivor Series. It was the very last wrestling pay-per-view or wrestling show at the the Cap Center, the old Cap Center up in Maryland. Last wrestling event there. They were closing that year. And it was Undertaker coming back from having his face crushed by King Mabel, who turned into Viscera. He had the old Phantom of the Opera mask on, if you remember that. I believe Goldust was fighting against Razor Ramon. You had Shawn Michaels and Ahmed Johnson on the same team going against the other people. I forget who they were. I think Psycho Sid and somebody else. Then you also had Bret Hart defending his title or winning the title off of Diesel. So it was good matches. It was great matches. I remember every second of it. I was a really young kid, and I still remember to this day everything that happened at that event. Survivor Series was one of my favorite events, and you didn't really even care if the elimination matches didn't really lead up to anything, but it was still fun to watch. It's still fun to watch Undertaker's team beat King Mabel's team, and it was still fun. Now it makes no sense. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. There's only one Survivor Series elimination match, and the rest of it is single matches. It makes no sense now.
You know what else makes no sense? Okay, I talked about the lack of qualifying matches. Trevor, they announced the teams on Twitter. On a Saturday afternoon, they announced it's oh, these are gonna be the teams, and they've already made changes on Raw. You know what the storyline is? The storyline is Adam Pearce, who, by the way, is in charge of both Raw and SmackDown. Oh, Adam Pearce is the GM, basically, whatever authority figure, both Raw and SmackDown, and he said, "Well, I want Team Raw to win." So I'm gonna take Dominic out of the match, and I'm gonna put Lashley in, which is what they did. And it's I'm okay, first of all, why do you announce that? Right? Why do you announce that Dominic's going to be in if you're only going to take him out? And then why is Adam Pearce, who oversees both brands, rooting for Raw? Why? Just give me one reason why he would. Just give me one reason why he would. Explain it away. But they don't feel like they need to do that.
No, they don't. That's all the storylines are gone. It just doesn't, like you said, it just doesn't make sense. It's useless. The matches are useless anymore. Survivor Series doesn't mean the same thing anymore. It's just change the name of it and call it piece of shit pay-per-view. I don't know.
Don't test Vince. Do not test Vince. Great balls of shit. It's gonna be
in 3D. It's.
Can you imagine?
Dude, it's just.
The proverbial turd on fire.
Oh my god.
Great balls of shit, and it's gonna be on Peacock. I'm gonna have shit on Peacock.
And it's gonna be in 3D.
It's gonna be on 3D, 4D, ultra widescreen.
Oh shit. It's just
oh,
terrible. Since we're talking about this shit, favorite Survivor Series moment. Favorite one.
Favorite Survivor Series moment. That's an interesting one. Can I give you three? Because I do have three.
Yeah, absolutely.
My top three. Number three, I'll say when the Undertaker returned at Survivor Series 2005, like from that flaming casket to attack Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. Wild, man. That was just wild. Match. Like, yeah.
Everything good
what else? Yeah, everything's good. We glitched out for a second. It's okay. Other than that, like, I mean, my number one is that Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels moment. Again, like, I'm a prisoner of like the time when I watch things live, so that's like what I'm like judging it by. But man, like Shawn Michaels like fighting till the end for Stone Cold Steve Austin's career. That was such a great moment.
Oh my god.
Man, yeah, that and like I guess another cool moment was like I think what year was this? This was Survivor Series. Is this two? Oh, it was Survivor Series 2001. That was the WCW versus WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Ending the invasion. By the way, I've watched the pay-per-view before, but I've not gotten to the actual invasion part of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I told you what I'm doing right now. So I started watching WCW, right? I started watching WCW.
You're about done with it, right?
No. Well, no, buddy. Do you want me to give you an update about that? Oh, buddy. Actually, I'll make that a weekly segment. Me updating you about where I am in WCW. If this was like a year ago, we would have been in a totally different place. I've been like, man, WCW. I don't know how they went out of business. I'm getting to the point where I understand why.
Yeah.
I know why, Trevor. I know why. Because this week on Nitro, you know what happened? You know what happened in Nitro? The fucking Disco Inferno joined the NWO. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this company's headed downhill spiral." Like I'm like, "Oh, it got that bad." Like I understand. Like I knew like David Arquette won the title. Like I knew stuff going in. I knew Vince Russo at some point. I'm pretty sure he held the title. I'll get to that eventually. But I'm at the point where Disco Inferno just joined the NWO. And the NWO are apparently all one big faction, but they're still the NWO. I don't understand what's going on. I watched Thunder. I watched Thunder to get context. Didn't get any context.
Thunder.
I just finished watching Super Bowl 9 from 1999, okay. and guess what? Guess who's kicked off the event? The first thing, the thing that's supposed to draw people into this pay-per-view, like, all right, let's get ready for this awesome night of wrestling. The first thing you hear, Disco Fever, Disco Fever. I'm like, dude, Disco. If Disco didn't die 20 years
leave Mr.
That,
Gilberti alone.
Dude, no. Everyone leaves him alone because nobody listens to his podcast. We have more viewers and listeners than him.
Oh, his podcast is terrible. Yeah,
terrible. You know why? You know why it's terrible too? It's not only, Trevor. It is not only because you know, Disco Inferno is like just a mark. It's just a mark for himself. Like and it's not only because he sucked. Like the Disco Inferno. Like, dude, like you can't wrestle. You can't cut a promo. No. Your music is just go away heat. You coming to the ring is go away heat. You do this. This is
oh, you forget his.
like, dude, Ernest the Cat Miller was a better version of the Disco Inferno than the Disco Inferno.
He actually was.
Man, somebody call his mama. Like
somebody call my mom.
like that's, by the way, that spot in the 2004 Royal Rumble, all time great. Like that was like
oh, I love the cat.
Oh my, the cat. Like Trevor comes to the ring in the Royal Rumble. He just starts dancing.
Yep.
and then like he's mad when Benoit and Orton throw him out. Like he's just so mad funny about it.
You know who else I liked over Disco Inferno? What's his name? Smiley. I love
Oh,
Smiley.
Norman Smiley is a much better
Norman Smiley
version.
was awesome. Love
Norman
Norman.
Smiley is better. Like, dude, it's gonna be a long list if we're like who. It would be easier, dude. You know what? You know what? Disco Inferno to me is what X Pac is to you. How about that? I think that that's the
That makes
best way for
perfect
me to
sense to
put
me.
it.
But
Like,
you know what's sad? Xbox a better wrestler. Barely.
significantly better, even with his. Like, he did that. He does that like every match. He's just like, wow. Like I'm just like, dude,
Shoot yourself.
dude, you stick to your spinning heel kick, kid. That's the only. That's your best move. But no, my also like other than the fact that he's just all around terrible, right, in the ring and all that. He also has like terrible people in his body. He has Billy Butty. I don't know if you know this guy, Billy Butty. I don't know if you know too much about him. So Billy Butty is like he's like you know when people say dirt sheet writer and you know they mean the bad connotation. He's close. He's like the bad connotation. Like he will. You know what he does sometimes, and he got in trouble, and Sean Ross Sapp actually called him out. And for those who don't know, Sean Ross Sapp is like the guy when it comes to like wrestling scoops, and he actually like goes about it with journalistic integrity. But
He really does. I love Sean Ross Sapp.
but Billy Butty, you know what he did? This is like scummy stuff. He at a point like would copy and paste stuff from Fightful Select, which is like their like a paywall for like exclusive content, exclusive reporting that is behind a paywall. And okay, he wouldn't just tweet it out, right? Because he didn't tweet it out. That's not what people hate him for. He would copy and paste stuff from Fightful's Patreon page and then put it on his Patreon page and put it out there as exclusive scoops. And I'm just like, dude, you like we could do that. I could do that. If I wanted to, I could do that. But you know why I don't? One, I have some integrity. Two, it's not a creative way to go about it. And three, dude, that's not your scoop. Those aren't your scoops. Those just aren't your scoops. And like, there's a lot. You know what? You know what? We're just gonna table this for another week because I'm just mad. I'm sorry, people. We derailed this whole show.
We really did, and we're sorry.
I see, you shouldn't have asked me about going down memory lane about wrestling, man. Just Disco Inferno is where I'm at in wrestling. All right, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in my life, all right?
Gotcha.
Anyway, guys, if you haven't already left, which a few people have, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.
Quitters.
MK Osborne in the chat says, Brooklyn Brawler wannabe. That is what Disco Inferno was. And CC also does the little disco thing. Cool. All right. Guys, please like this video. Like this video. It really needs it at this point. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Up, down, down. That's kind of like the views on this video. Anyway, so up, down news, Trevor. This is just going to finish off our complete and utter burial of WWE tonight because that's what we do. So according to Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp dropped a report on Tuesday stating that there were tongue-tied. Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp dropped a report on Tuesday stating that there's a reason that there is currently not any new content going up on Up, Down, Down, which is Xavier Woods' gaming page. And it has to do with wrestlers who work on the channel standing in solidarity with Woods over the deal he was given when he sold the YouTube channel to WWE. And this is a quote from the report. He says, quote, "They felt he was getting taken advantage of by the bad deal with Up, Down, Down. We're told that they don't plan on posting new content until Woods gets a better deal." And you know, he stressed that this is not the end of the channel, but they will continue to post new videos when a new deal is reached. The report comes just 1 week before the launch of the G4 network, the relaunch, I should say, the G4 network, which Xavier Woods is reported to be having a big part of. We don't know the exclusive, like, I guess, you know, or the specific, I should say, details of the deal, but he basically, like, I think we can read between the lines. I'm sure that it's something along the lines of you give us up, up, down, down, and you make it our property. We'll obviously give you a huge cut, but you'll also get to do some outside ventures. Like that's pure speculation on my part,
Right.
but that seems like WWE's mo, honestly, at this point. But Trevor, what do you kind of make of this? Of these other wrestlers, these content creators are kind of taking a stand for Xavier Woods when they feel like he's in a position of being taken advantage of by his channel.
It's good. It's solidarity. It shows family values, which is something that they kind of promote there. Um, but no, it's a good thing. I mean, Xavier Woods is like a friend of the locker room. Everyone likes him in the locker room. So it makes sense that a lot of his friends, probably a lot of people that actually come on the show, because he has a lot of people that come on up, up, down, down, and a few of them actually have their own gaming channels too, like Adam Cole, um, to mention one of them. But yeah, so it makes sense. I mean, at this point, I mean, I get that he wants to keep his own channel because he wants to keep his own thing that he's done, but he's about to be, like you said, he's about to be I believe either a host or he's also doing something in the behind the scenes with G4 as well. So I mean, G4 relaunched it is a huge deal. So I mean, this is it might be better form this way.
So I mean, I see that, right? And if we're thinking just in the realm of like, okay, he's going out and they're letting him do this awesome stuff with G4, right, and being a big
Right.
part of the relaunch, that's cool, right? And the fact that he's allowed to go do that, that's cool. But then you kind of have to weigh: is this thing that you've built up, right, with up, up, down, down, like, is it worth giving that up? Like, because like there's speculation and all that kind of stuff that WWE will one day just turn it into WWE's gaming channel,
It
and
probably
and
will.
just have like, and then which something we could totally see them doing.
Mhm.
Because again, we don't know the specifics of the deal between the two parties, but you could see that happening, and if that's like the way it's going, and if there are people legitimately upset, I think they have certain reasons to be upset
Mhm.
because likelihood is he is in some way getting taken advantage of because we know WWE does this. Look at what happened with the Twitch streaming that happened. Like multiple wrestlers left because of Twitch streaming. Adam Cole reportedly that was like that played a part into his decision about leaving WWE because he didn't want to give up his Twitch stream. And it wasn't because of money. He just didn't he thought it was fun and he didn't want to give
Yeah,
it up and he didn't want to, mess it up. He wanted more creative freedom and that's the thing. Like and if anything else, I can't further speculate, I guess, but if anything else, this should be a message to any content creators out there. Uh, if you have something that you've built up, that you've cultivated and what have you, think very hard before you decide to make a deal like this where you are essentially giving away the property rights for your channel. Really think it through. Think it through, and if any way possible, always hold on to the actual channel. Like always hold on to the property of the channel because it's a big deal to like let that go. Up Up Down Down has 2 million subscribers. That's a big deal. It's a big base for Xavier Woods. If one day he doesn't want to wrestle anymore, like they're
right.
like that's like that could be his thing, and again, it's a decision everyone who gets to that point has to make. But I would advise any content creators out there, man, like really think about it. Like really think hard, think it through, consult with someone, really, really understand what you'd be doing.
I agree. Totally agree. This is one of those things where I mean, you want because didn't they say something about that you couldn't have WWE said you couldn't have like your own channel or something like that? Didn't they?
Well,
What,
goddamn pal, you can have your own channel, but I want the money.
exactly.
That,
Yeah, I
that's
won't
that's
get
that
paid.
was like that was like literally it. That was literally it. It was goddamn pal, keep the channel, give me all of your money. He was like Mr. Krabs, like Mr.
Yeah, pretty
Krabs, like
much.
oh yo
All your
money
monies,
money.
money, 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 money.
Then Vince McMahon with his big meaty claws.
That's so ridiculous.
Guys, if you're entertained, which I doubt you are at this point,
I know you're
if
at
you
this
are,
point.
please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, hit that like button, smash it if you will, so our algorithm gets helped out. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify and all that jazz. Um, oh, we have Brian Ross who's just joining the chat. Says just a few second row VIP available. All right, Brian. Cool.
That means.
Sounds like you're trying to sell me something. And if I've learned one thing, it is you always answer and give all of your information to people who solicit you on the internet.
Always. You always do.
Yeah. Always. It's always a great idea. Anyway, Trev, let's move on and talk about hopefully lighter things. This is like a very depressing start to this episode.
It really has been.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you like what I've done with the banner here of with the Full Gear banner? It's like a little bit of.
It's so sparkly.
You know. Yeah, it's nice, right? I was like, at first I had like the city of Minneapolis on it, and I was like, oh no, fuck that, man. We all know what Full Gear is about to be. It's about to be some cowboy shit.
Cowboy shit. Let's go.
Cowboys, or as JR would say, some cowboy shit.
Oh, she is knit. She is knit. Mm-hmm.
Whoa, JR. Whoa. Hey,
Sir,
now, buddy. All right, Trevor, let's move on and talk about AEW. Trevor, Full Gear is just a few days away. By the way, guys, we are going to have our official live preview for Full Gear, I believe on Friday night, right here on the channel. So be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and all that jazz for that. It's, I believe, already listed in our upcoming live stream, so you can just go on there and set a reminder if you haven't already. It is going to be jam-packed. We're going to be going through every single match on the card. We're not going to be doing that right now, but we are going to be talking about the pay-per-view kind of in general, because Full Gear is going to be this Saturday. Thank God it's on a Saturday. And it's interesting, right? The card so far, I'm just going to read out the matches. You have Christian Cage and Jurassic Express taking on the Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. You also have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defending her world title against Ty Conti. So Ty Conti is going to get in there and have a crack at a world championship. Bryan Danielson versus Miro in the final of the world title eliminator. The Inner Circle versus American Top Team and Men of the Year. Lucha Brothers versus FTR for the AEW tag team titles. I feel like I should read this out in like Excalibur's. Like, you know how Excalibur does his like, it's gonna be the Lucha Brothers. Penta taking on FTR, Dax Hardwood and Crash Wheeler with
He's so excited. He's so excited
for the AEW World Tag Team Champion. But I love how like all of them have like different ways of saying it.
They do.
Like Excalibur's just like we're gonna like he is like all in, and then you have Tony Schiavone's like, and then Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, will be taking on Ty Conti for the AEW Women's World Championship. Like, and then you got JR, good old JR there. It's like, and then we got the big kahuna, Kenny Omega defending his AEW World title against the Hangman. Adam Page gonna be laying down some cowboy shit here in WWE. I mean AEW. We love you.
I will never get tired of JR, dude. Never, ever get tired of JR.
Love JR. No, like this. Also, you know what's weird? This is again, we're just gonna go off topic because it's our show. We can do whatever the fuck we want. But so I'm still getting like I still get comments on one of the we did a show back a long time ago where we were talking about the AEW commentary teams, and like so I got so much feedback. People are very divided. Either they hate JR or oddly they hate Excalibur.
A lot of people don't like Excalibur, and I think I said that on the show. A lot of people don't like Excalibur.
And so one of them actually like wrote like an essay, like literally you go in the comments. They wrote an essay explaining it to me, and I kind of get it. Like after they kind of explained their whole side, which again it was a lot, but it was a fascinating read. But so the whole thing is essentially that people feel that he is too much of an insider. He uses too many like internet or ICW like type of I guess facts or whatever in his commentary, and he kind of like, and that's like the audience he's kind of like geared his commentary to, and because he's like the main voice on there, it becomes like it might draw people away, which I understand that, but I'm also like, but that's why you got JR and that's why you got Tony Schiavone and other people, because Excalibur is going to solidify the base of the people who pay for the AEW product, and he's like, no offense to JR or Tony Schiavone, he's the most knowledgeable one about the current landscape of that company and
Oh, yeah.
and everything that is going on there. And that's, again, no hate on JR. That is just truth, because like, he's known these people, he's worked with them, he's worked
He's wrestled
against
with
them
them,
in
yeah.
some of these. Yes, so he knows these people, and he knows how to call it kind of like a sport, and with the historical facts. He's kind of like he's like a more energetic version of Mike Tenay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it, but it's also like the one thing I would tell people who are upset about one or two announcers is, well, there's a reason you have multiple announcers. It's so that you can have multiple voices, and if you want to tune out Excalibur, you can. If you want to tune out JR, you can. If you want to tune out Tony Schiavone, you can. If you want to tune out Taz, like I do, you can. Oh, big ups to my man Adam Page going against Johnny Hungy. Big up. Well, let's get back on the rails here, and let's go full gear here. Trevor, full gear is this weekend. I ran down the card. Outside of the world title match, what match are you most excited for?
Actually, MJF and Darby Allin should be a good one. Should be a really good one. I'm interested to see that one. And actually, the Miro and Brian Danielson one is going to be amazing too.
That's the most intriguing one for me, because I'm excited to see what Miro and Brian can do. Kind of, well, there's this whole like narrative of the chains of WWE or whatever being off, right? Like that's kind of like the narrative that the internet has built this match up with, and I'm excited to see like what they can do with that. The other one I'm excited for, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this one. Eddie Kingston, you're gonna have the Pipe God versus the Mic God. Eddie Kingston
honestly,
versus CM Punk. Your favorite wrestler, Eddie Kingston, who, by the way, he almost fought. I will remind everyone every time we talk about Eddie Kingston. I'm gonna remind you of that. The fact that you almost fought Eddie Kingston.
I honestly think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one. I didn't mention it. I don't know why I didn't, but no, I think it's going to be a very good one.
I know why, because you were trying to bury Eddie Kingston.
I have been very good with Eddie Kingston here recently. Very nice to Eddie Kingston. I appreciate the work.
You actually have, because I remember, man. I remember when we started this show and we would talk about Eddie Kingston. You used to be like, "Oh, what a dirtbag." I was just like, "Yeah." What up with the hate? And then like you told me the story, I was like, "Oh, that's just petty hate." Because you got belligerent one night and tried to fight Eddie Kingston. Oh, one day we're gonna have Eddie Kingston on the show, and I'm gonna make you come face to face with your maker. Fight me! Fight me! Fight me!
Fight me! Fight me!
Sir, but no, that promo was
amazing.
Like, I think I did a live stream for that, right? And I remember watching it. I had goosebumps. Like my jaw dropped. I was like, yo, this is like I'm like witnessing like just an amazing moment. Like you have CM Punk, who's like one of the best talkers in the history of wrestling. Eddie Kingston, one of the best talkers in wrestling today, going at it, and it was just. Pew, pew, pew,
gloves off. Man, gloves
off, man. Gloves off. Safeties off. Pew, 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 pew. Like straight shooting.
Dude, it was amazing. And like, it's funny because we just talked about how CM Punk needs to do more actual promos instead of this love fest he's been going on. And dude, he did not disappoint. He did not disappoint at all.
He did not disappoint. And then at Full Gear, we're going to have on Saturday, November 13th, at the Minneapolis Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to have AEW Full Gear live on pay-per-view. Please call Bleacher Report. It's going to be Eddie Kingston taking on
Where is this show going?
I don't know. This is my tryouts. Tony, if you ever need Excalibur to take a pay cut and he's not willing to do so, call your boy. I can do exactly what he does. Put me under the mask. Call me Excalibur. Call me Excalibur. Put me under the mask. No one will ever know.
I think they might.
I'll just throw in what's it called? I'll throw in like a mess up every now and then just so people know I'm Excalibur too.
Yeah,
Oof,
yeah.
oof. I love you, Excalibur. Love you, Excalibur. Oof, messy, messy,
Ooh.
messy. Uh,
So sad.
messy. That should be the name of the show. Just messy, messy, messy,
Oh, it's
messy
super messy.
wrestling.
Super
Messy
messy.
wrestling, man. Messy, messy, messy. But we love everyone. ELE. Everyone love everyone. Trevor, I got a question.
That's it.
This. Okay, look at the bottom banner. You like this one,
Mhm.
or you like this one?
The other one.
The other one? All right, we're going to go with that then for this segment. Thank you. Executive producer Trevor Sultan. Boopity boopity. Anyway. Boopity boppity. There goes the Italian audience. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos released. Also, keep those questions in the chat, comments, all that jazz. We love to have the engagement and love to hear your opinions about what we're talking about. And if you agree, if you disagree, let me know. Trev. Oh, buddy. AEW. This is the big one. This is the one I'm most excited for. So, Trevor, AEW Full Gear is just a few days away. Or sorry, it's just a few days away actually. Holy shit. Yeah, AEW Full Gear is a few days away. Kenny Omega will be defending. Kenny Omega will be defending his AEW World Championship against the Hangman Adam Page, and it is going to be the culmination of years, literally years of storytelling. And I can't do it all justice, like the complete video, like or the complete story at all. But like I'm going to try my best. For a long time I've said the Adam Page Kenny Omega storyline is probably the best version of long-term wrestling that modern day wrestling fans have ever been privy to, that I've ever seen. And I'm going to stand behind that very bold statement because, Trevor, this is something that goes back years. Yep. This man, the Hangman Adam Page, is set to basically win. We all think he is. He's going to win on Sunday and become the world champion. And it is going to be the ending to a storyline that has captivated much of the AEW audience, definitely the AEW audience, and honestly the internet wrestling audience for a long time. And let me just go through some of the main points of why this is probably the biggest storyline in, honestly, a lot of people's lifetimes as far as just how in-depth it goes. Before AEW started, Adam Page, as you can see right here, he ran with the Young Bucks. They brought him into the Bullet Club. They brought him into the Elite. And when they brought him in, Matt and Nick Jackson, the one thing the Young Bucks said about him was that this is a guy you can build a wrestling company around. This is before AEW came to fruition. This is what they said about him. And some 4 or 5 years later, we could very well see that. And it's just insane because this was the guy, even before AEW, I mentioned it, but even at the first press conference, you almost knew that this was the guy that they were eventually going to pass the torch to become the huge star of this company, the face of AEW. Right. And it was just always there. And the storyline with him and the Young Bucks, of them bringing him in, and then him being the millennial cowboy who has this anxiety about, big moments. He wins the Double or Not, the first match in AEW history. He wins the Battle Royale. He goes on to face Chris Jericho, and he loses because he fears failing. And then because he has all this anxiety, he has all this feeling of self-worth, or this lack of feeling of self-worth, he ends up turning on his best friends, the Young Bucks. Like, he has, like, him and Kenny Omega, they're going out there, they're winning titles, but Adam Page is almost feeling alienated by the Young Bucks. He's not celebrating with them. He's not hanging out with them. He's really only friends with Kenny Omega. And then they face each other. Kenny Omega and Adam Page, remember, AEW Revolution 2020, they face each other. And in the tag team match, at the end, after Kenny Omega and Adam Page win against the Young Bucks, it almost looks like for a very split second, that Adam Page was going to hit Kenny Omega with a buckshot lariat. He didn't. Fast forward a few weeks, pandemic happens. Adam Page is nowhere to be seen. On BTE, he basically said he doesn't want to be friends with the Young Bucks anymore, and a lot of that is brought on because he just doesn't feel, maybe he doesn't feel like he's good enough. That's the inner conflict within Adam Page that's been going on for a long time. And remember, these are the same Young Bucks who brought him in, who said, this is a guy you can build a wrestling company around. Fast forward a few weeks, FTR comes in, and the first thing they do when they come in was manipulate Adam Page, who already had these weird feelings about the Young Bucks. The first thing they do is they manipulate the anxious millennial cowboy into helping them win a tag team eliminator match against the Young Bucks to become the number one contenders for the tag team titles, which Adam Page did. He inadvertently, or not inadvertently, he very overtly interfered with the match and made sure the Young Bucks lost because he thought that FTR were the friends he needed. And instead, what happened? They manipulated him. FTR turned his back on him. And then the Young Bucks turned their back on him, throwing beer in his face, calling him a drunk, and closing the door to give us one of the biggest visuals in this whole storyline with the mirror shattering. And Adam Page was left alone, almost alone. And then they lost. And Kenny Omega basically said, Adam, I can't. He can't. He literally said that. He's like, Adam, I can't.
Yep.
Because Adam Page, in the biggest moment when they needed to defend their titles against FTR, he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to come up big. Kenny Omega just left him. And then after that, fast forward a few more weeks, I think it was All Out 2020, the Young Bucks win the tag team titles at All Out 2020, or maybe it was Full Gear. I think it was Full Gear. It was Full Gear 2020. They win the tag team titles. And they are celebrating. Kenny Omega's there. The rest of the Elite are there. And then Adam Page is watching. There's a very split second. You can see Adam Page watching from the ramp. And it was like he was in the entrance ramp. He was barely there, but you saw him. And that's part of it. He doesn't go out because he knows his friends who he was manipulated against won't take care of him. They won't want him. Fast forward, Adam Page starts this weird on and off relationship with the Dark Order. And he says he doesn't want to roll with a group anymore. He doesn't want to roll with a group because he's tried that and it's failed him. The Dark Order tried to tell him, Adam, it's okay. It's okay to trust people. But the anxious millennial cowboy doesn't. You take it a few more weeks, a few more months, and the Dark Order and Adam Page start to grow a bond, especially after the death of Brody Lee. They begin this bond because they're there. Whenever Adam Page is alone and getting attacked, they're there. Whenever Adam Page is outnumbered, they're there. And slowly the trust between the Dark Order and Adam Page builds to the point where eventually Adam Page, again, remember Fyter Fest Night 2 back in July, Adam Page joined the Dark Order, baby. He joined the Dark Order. They all came out in this amazing segment, and it seemed like he was just about to reach the pinnacle of his career. He was going to win the match, become the number one contender for Kenny Omega's title at All Out, and then he lost. He goes off TV. We think the millennial cowboy, who the Young Bucks said you could build a wrestling company around, was not going to be around. And it's weird because the promos from the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, it was almost as if they were saying to him, you were a guy we thought you could build a wrestling company around, but we had to do it instead. That's literally been the storyline because you're not good enough. We were wrong about you. And you just see like in recent weeks, he's been getting more confident, more and more confident. Like the anxiousness is leaving him, and he's just becoming the millennial cowboy we all want him to be. And you fast forward to him winning the poker chip in the ladder match, and this dude is just he's literally a few steps away, just one huge step away from manifesting the destiny that was put out for him in becoming the face of this company and honestly proving the Young Bucks wrong and right in a certain way. I mean, I did a terrible job of explaining that. That is like the Spark Notes version of this.
You did a decent job.
This was the Spark Notes version of it. I have no notes in front of me, by the way. This is all from my memory. But I mean, there are a bunch of good videos on it, and I'll probably link some in the description of this video. But in all, this has been. If you have been watching AEW from day one, this is something you've seen, you've noticed, and you've been captivated by. And for a lot of people, myself included, it is going to be like when it slash if he wins at Full Gear, it is going to be just one of the most long-term satisfying endings, I think, in the history of wrestling. And I don't know. I just want to get your opinion on that after my long diatribe.
Well, like I said, I think it's an amazing story. I like Hangman. I have liked Hangman. His just his persona, just his charisma in the ring, just him. I like him. I think like this is probably will be one of the most satisfying matches if he wins. It's possible, like the most satisfying end to a story that I've ever seen, and probably one of the best put together stories I've seen in wrestling. Period. Like this, like you said, this is stretched from their time in ROH, from their time beating together all the way to now, and it's awesome. It's awesome how it went together, put together. And honestly, I think if you don't put the belt on him now, you miss an opportunity. So,
Can you imagine? You know who was it? It was Bully Ray. I think it was, I don't know, like Bully Ray was talking about how AEW, like they don't have heat like they're not good at building heat. They give people too many good storylines.
right.
And I don't know, I saw on the internet. It might be wrong, but it was like apparently someone was saying like that Bully was like trying to say that AEW should like not put the belt on Adam Page just to have like that heat moment, and I'm just like, no, this is not the moment you do that with. Like there are so many moments you could have done that.
You
that
might seriously ruin a lot of things if you don't put the belt on this man right now.
It'll be bad, man. It'll be bad. Wrestling fans are not. We are a different breed, man. We are a different breed. Do you remember back in ECW, a new breed, the new breed unleashed, bro? You don't want that. But I mean, you've been watching wrestling literally like longer than I've been alive. But you've been watching wrestling for a very long time. So I just have like the question is, all this time you've been watching wrestling, again, very long time. Have you ever seen anything like this expansive, this like with this many little details and over a long period of time? Like where did this kind of like, I don't want to even say rank, but where did this kind of like place in your head of like long-term storylines?
This might be this is pretty high up, if not number one. Like another one I can think of that they kind of, and I think they did that one completely by accident, but the Mega Powers with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. That's one that you could throw up there, but they did that one was completely by accident.
Yeah, dig it. Yeah. Got lust in your eyes for Elizabeth. Yeah.
That shit killed me. Like that's still one of the funniest promos. But I can see guys.
And you know, even if you look at it from a different angle, if you look at it from the angle of Macho and Liz, that's stretched out over like 2 WrestleManias. Like that was like and with the ending of Liz and Macho getting back together, like that was another thing of like long-term booking. And but I mean, I just think this was just
it was done so much better. I think honestly, it really was.
I mean, this is just the hints have been dropping and like it hasn't been perfect. But I think for the people who have watched AEW from the beginning, again, this doesn't have to be a thing where like, oh, every fan needs to know all these details. Like, no. But for the fans who do, and for the fans who've been paying attention since the beginning, and again, that's not a knock on people who haven't. It's just for them, for the real ones, the OGs. This is gonna be like, kind of like just like here you go, you go. Like we know you want this. And we're finally finishing it off. It all paid off. It made sense, and it was worth your time. And I think for the people who've been watching this and paying attention for a long time, it is going to be that feeling of just like, it's just great. Like I remember I was watching when Adam Page won the ladder match, right? When he won a ladder match, dude, I marked that I was speechless on my stream, and
Yeah.
which I'm, in case anyone knows, I'm never speechless on my stream.
No.
But it was such a cool moment as someone who's been watching and paying attention to his career and AEW for a long time. Like I was like, I don't even want to say I wasn't on the verge of tears, but like, you know what I'm saying? It was like emotional. I was like,
Yeah, it was good. It was like, oh man, this is it's a feel good moment.
it was such a feel good moment when his music hits. This guy's a mega star. He's a mega star, and when he gets the belt on him, and he's out there, and he's having great matches with MJF, and he's having great matches with Moxley when he returns, and Bryan and Punk and all those guys. It's gonna mean such a huge deal because all of it mattered in the end.
The only part that sucks is you know what's coming. When MJF becomes the number one contender, he's gonna lose the belt.
Get you in there. No, God, then we're never gonna. Did you hear the promo that MJF cut on his parents today?
No.
It was bad. He called his mom a skank. I was like, what? That's the definition of white privilege right there, my guy.
Yeah, I got the taste slapped out my mouth soon as I said my mama is what?
Oh my God. He was like, really? And he said it so casually. He was like, first of all, my mom's a scam. I was like, yo, MJF, what?
If I even said my mom to anything, I'd have got punched. My mom's like, what you gonna say? I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry.
He called his dad a deadbeat. I was just like, yo, MJF has no chill, my guy.
That's
no
hilarious.
Chill whatsoever. Let's go to the chat real quick where Juggernaut has joined us. Welcome, Juggernaut. Good to see you after a long time. He says, you're looking like Orange Cassidy. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Hold on. We got it.
Oh dear.
Anyway, welcome Juggernaut. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos are released. Trevor, people say I'm dressed like Orange Cassidy. You know who doesn't like Orange Cassidy?
A lot of people.
Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette doesn't like Orange Cassidy.
Are we talking about Jim Cornette today?
You know what Jim Cornette? No. Do you know what Jim Cornette is?
A snowflake?
He's a little snowflake, just like this guy, Kobe Covington. Oh, I'm ready to talk about this.
Oh yes, bring on the hate. Woo!
Kobe Covington, baby. This past week at the UFC pay-per-view, Kobe Covington got his ass kicked by Kamaru Usman. The former UFC welterweight champion lost to Kamaru Usman by unanimous decision in the main event. And following the event, he was asked a very important question, Trevor. He was asked if he could see himself trying pro wrestling. And here's the quote, and I'm just going to tell you the quote and react to it.
I've seen the quote. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen it.
Quote, he said, quote, I might go to WWE one day. You'll never see me in a second-tier promotion like AEW. Trevor, what do you make of Snowflake Covington's comments?
Always trying to be a dick. I swear, he is the epitome of a fucking mark. Dude, that's all cap. It's just for people to hate him even more. I mean, like, we need another reason to hate you, Kobe. Like, you already live and breathe reasons for me to hate you. Like, I mean, to me, it was just him being Kobe. Honestly, at this point, it was just him being Kobe to get more heat. Like, he needs more heat. He needs more heat. Like, he needs another hole in his head. Like, I mean, again,
like, Kamaru Usman basically gave him one.
Right? He sure did, dude. It was a brutal fight. Such a great fight.
Oh, it was an amazing fight. I loved it. Every second of it was amazing. It's just
especially because Kobe was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah.
But not taking anything from the man. Like, I can't stand him, but I think he's an amazing fighter. I do. I absolutely do. I think he's an amazing fighter. I thought it was an amazing fight. Thought the better man won. Congratulations, Usman. But I think that you're just trying to get attention, Kobe. At this point, you're just trying to get attention. And I'm getting sick of you and your attention.
for all those Kobe Covington fans out there who absolutely love our takes about Kobe.
Oh yes, they love
He
him.
is a little snowflake.
It's
He
terrible.
gets mad very easily. He gets upset when people use big words and to outdo him. He gets mad when he loses. You know why he does that? Because he's a little snowflake. And yeah, this is just to get people talking. Could I see him in wrestling one day? Yeah, Kobe Covington would do
Yeah,
great in
absolutely.
wrestling one day.
I mean,
He would do great in wrestling one day. You know
he
why?
would.
Because in wrestling, one of the biggest attributes that by hook or by crook ends up working for you is if you're a mark for yourself and you are willing to go to any lengths for it, you can win. Look at Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely.
Look at some of the all-time greats. They did some scummy stuff. They were selfish, and you know what? It worked out for them. So Kobe Covington, he's willing to say, do whatever, right? And then complain to the right people and go whining to Dana White about I lost Dana. I'm a little snowflake. He's it's what he does. That's what Kobe Covington does best, right? So yeah, go to WWE, go to AEW. He's gonna get paid. He's gonna do. He's gonna cut. He's going to cut some uncreative but heat garnering promos. You know, like
Of course.
the heat that MJF garners is at least good because he's creative with his promos. Kobe
Yeah,
Covington is
yeah.
just like, oh yeah, you little snowflake. Like, he calls other people snowflakes, although he's like the biggest snowflake in the room at all times. But he's like, oh, you little snowflakes, make America great again, Donald Trump, and he starts crying when he talks about Donald Trump, and
God, I can't stand
then
him.
he said that, and then and then he loses like people because he starts saying something racist. Then he starts saying something sexist, and he just and you know why? Because he's a little insecure snowflake. That's why, Kobe fans. He's a little insecure little snowflake.
Who was that? Who it was some UFC fighter. He took his wife's face and put it on his underwear. He wore underwear of the guy's wife's face. I think it was Dustin Poirier. I'm not sure who it was. Yeah,
What? Wait,
yeah,
what?
he had a pair of drawers that had the man's wife's face on it. And I'm not. Don't quote me on that. It may not be Dustin Poirier. Don't quote me on that. But it was someone like that. I don't remember who it was. It was absolutely ridiculous.
I just looked it up and some unfavorable results came up. So I don't know about that. I do remember Conor McGregor, which this is like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. When he broke his leg in that matchup against, I think it was Poirier, when he broke his leg,
Yeah, it was
Conor
just Poirier.
McGregor is sitting down with a broken leg. Cutting a promo. He's like, your wife's gonna call me in my. Your wife's slid in my DMs. Your wife
Oh
slid
yeah,
in my
yeah,
DMs. And I'm just like, man, only like I don't like a lot of things that come out of Conor McGregor's mouth, but unlike Snowflake Covington, Conor McGregor is at least creative with the shit he says. Like Kobe Covington, just like go away. Anyone can make that the type of heat Kobe does. He's because he doesn't have to think about it. He just does. He doesn't think about it. That's the thing. And that's the reason why I think there's a lot of people who like gravitate to him and defend him so much because they don't think about it either. Because it's just he's not a smart guy, and
he's not.
he's just not a smart guy, and that's just what it is. He's a little snowflake Covington.
Like the thing about him is it's one of those things. If he was more creative with his promos, if he was more creative with the insults he did, I think it would be more so like I would like him a little more because I like fighters with edge. I like fighters that talk shit. But it's not creative. It's borderline, if not racist, all the time. It's super offensive.
You know who I like? I like fighters who fight. And who just
Exactly.
smash like my boy Habib, bro. Habib would just the only promo Habib ever needed was I smash him. This is the man who, after he like basically started like a riot at a UFC event when he beat McGregor the first time. Well, he basically started a riot, right? He did that, and then he was asked like, "What's gonna happen to you? Are there gonna be repercussions?" And he's just like, "My dad's going to smash me." I'm like, yo, that family. By the way, oh my god, man, oh my god, like it was. That's someone. that's someone who's just like such a badass. By the way, big ups to R.I.P. Rest in peace, Abdul Nurmagomedov, Khabib's dad,
Oh
man. What a
yes, yes,
hey,
yeah,
he raised a great kid. I just wanted you to know he raised a great, respectful kid. Lost his cool in that instance, but other than that, Khabib has been like the model. Like he's exactly what you want a fighter to be.
he is absolutely. And I was right. It was Dustin Poirier's wife.
Your wife sent me DMs.
It was. He has.
Like a little leprechaun. Your wife sent me DMs.
It's a pair. It was a pair. It was. He had a trench coat on. He was standing in front of the ring. Actually, it was a robe. Standing in front of the ring. He had Under Armour underwear on, and it's right around the crotch is a picture of Dustin Poirier's wife.
Oof. All I'm gonna say to that, oof.
That Kobe Covington guy's a stand-up gentleman, isn't he?
President Trump.
President Trump. He raised me as a
little snowflake. Like actually though, what a little snowflake. Anyway, let's move on, Trev. To the end of the show. No, we were just wrapping up real quick. Wrapping up here at the end of the show. We got some final takes, some final thoughts. Guys, it'd be a great time to hit us up in the chat with some questions, comments, whatever. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as we begin. So don't worry, we're not done yet. Ask your questions. We'll get through your questions. We begin the wrap-up process. I got a question for you.
Yes,
Trevor,
sir.
what do you think about... Trevor, what are you watching right now? Like what is something in wrestling you're watching right now and enjoying?
I do enjoy a lot of the AEW product. I do, but you know me,
you little mark. How much is Tony paying you to watch?
I wish a lot. But no, I do. I'm trying to follow more. I've been working so much. I'm trying to follow more of the indies because I love what's going on in most of the indies, GCW, ICW, got places like that. I'm trying to keep up more with that. Like, I just love the fact that it's just it's fresh. Everything is super fresh right now. A lot of things are going on, and it's fun to watch. MLW, MCW, it's just a lot to watch, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun to enjoy.
Absolutely, man. I like I said, I'm enjoying actually watching older wrestling right now. Like I'm generally still enjoying WCW, even though a lot of it doesn't make sense. I mean, look, I'm speaking about 1999. I'm thinking March 1999. So like we're not even close. Like I am a year out from like just I don't even know. I don't know how to be fully prepared for what I'm about to watch week to week. But I will say this. I definitely think that I appreciate there are certain people I appreciate a lot more having watched like older wrestling, like especially WCW, because I only heard what WWE would tell me about it growing up.
Right.
But actually seeing all this firsthand is just like I'm just like, oh, there's so many cool people that
there's some really good matches in WCW.
Should have picked up and should have done things with like Alex Wright. I don't understand why Alex Wright was not like at least a guy. Just turned him into like the Berliner.
Alex Wright was one of my favorite wrestlers in WCW. Always like on the
Das
WCW.
Wunderkind. Das Wunderkind, Alex Wright.
He was one of my favorites.
Then they turned him into like the dancing. Basically, they turned him into a bootleg a German disco inferno. I'm just like, no, he's so good.
They had a tag team.
Oh, did they really? Am I past that point?
I think you might be. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Thank God. Thank God. Maybe I've like steered it out of my memory. sorry, Gilbert. Sorry, Gilly boy. But no, God, man, I don't know. I mean, here's the silver lining for me. Right after this, I'm gonna be going right into actually no, this is not a silver lining. I'm gonna be going right into Raw or WWE 2001. After Mania. I'm gonna be going into WWE 2001 after Mania.
So you're gonna do it the right way and go back to the like 90s, or are you just gonna start in
No,
2001?
no, 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 no. Well, I'm on this like thing of like watching the whole WCW. I want to say arc, right? So like, I started
Oh,
like
so you're watching after? I got you.
so
Got you.
here's the
Okay.
thing. Yeah, so my plan is I started like 95, right? Like mid 95 WCW, and to go I'm going to go until the end of WCW and watch every pay-per-view and try to watch as many nitros as I can. If there's one that I can miss, thankfully I will.
Miss.
But pay-per-views are a must, and the nitro leading into the pay-per-view is a must. That's like the
Okay.
rules I've set for myself. Right now I'm at 99, and then the plan after WCW eventually crumbles is to go and watch the Invasion storyline and how that plays out completely. Like, well, as I'll set some rules for that, I'm sure, but watch that how that whole thing plays out. And then I don't know. And then I don't know. Then I might just go into TNA. Then I might just go and like, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah. I'm
I
actually
don't
right
know.
now. I'm in 96 of WCW,
Oof.
1996, 97.
My friend, it's oh, God, I miss those days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so bad.
And
Fucking the Disco Inferno is opening up. Baby, you know how I was excited. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great pay per view. Like Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair.
yeah.
And then, like all I hear is Disco Fever. I'm like, oh, I need to. I'm just turn this off. I turned it off.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and it's just, I mean, and I think actually WWE just got some rights for some ICW matches, so I think I'm gonna check those out too. Oh,
We're at on the Peacock. You know what I hate about WWE?
a lot.
Well, I mean, like, no, I'm okay. Sorry. You know what I hate about the network and Peacock
Oh,
the
there you
most?
go.
They didn't pay for any of Jimmy Hart's songs. So you know
No,
what we get on the network for all of WCW? Here's the thing. The WCW music, the majority of the music for the talent was
what's
like
W?
no, 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 no. It was Jimmy Hart's ripoffs of real songs. But now we are getting WWE ripoffs of
Yep,
Jimmy Hart's ripoffs of real songs. And it's so
it's
it's
even worse.
like dude, oh my, the worst one is the DDP one, because like
Oh,
originally like Jimmy Hart ripped it off of a Nirvana song,
yeah.
and like it sounds nothing like the Nirvana song now. It's just like it's just generic.
Self 5-5. Yeah.
They didn't keep the Bret Hart one, which I'm just like, oh come on, you got to keep Bret Hart's.
Yeah, that was
Instead of
that was
going
school's out for summer. Now you gotta
instead
keep
of
that.
going instead of going it went from that to and now it's just like it's just so bad, Trevor, so bad. And the worst part is every time Hulk Hogan comes out, I hear this massive pop, right? Sorry, no, I see this massive pop, but I don't hear it because those motherfuckers are too cheap to get the rights to to Hollywood Hogan's song, which is the I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. I can. How am I blanking on his name? I almost said Jimmy Havoc. I cannot believe on Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix. I cannot believe I blanked on that for a second. My God, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone listening to this, but they don't and the thing is because they dub it over with a crappy NWO. Like no waka 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 cacao like waka cacao.
Cat getting stepped on.
Like it's like I'm like oh dude, like it would be so much awesome. Like everyone, like I feel the energy like of everyone in the crowd. Like I see it and I'm like I hear what the song is. I'm like this is not the same. And then like you'll go back and you watch clips like whatever you can of like the sound of the music with the audience and his entrance. It's so different. It changes the entire vibe of the intro. I'm just like there's one song you pay for. It's Hollywood Hogan. Like, come on. They gave him like the cheapest ripoff ever of his time in WWE. Because remember, he still had the song for a little bit when he would come out as Hollywood Hogan in 2003, and it's like, wah! Instead of the the Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child, it's like, like I'm just like, what are you like? Are you okay? Like, what are you doing to that poor guitar? Like, please stop it.
That's still one of my favorite interests of all time, though. That's one of my favorite interest songs of all time.
What? No, the WWE dub? The
original dum dum.
Okay, Voodoo. You're talking about Voodoo Child. Okay, I was like, who? You're the one person. You're the test group. You were in that test group.
No. I
Oh
love.
my god.
My grandmother had that album, had that record with that song on it. I used to listen to it when I was a kid.
Oh man, WWE, what have you done? You're paying all this money. You're making all this money and not spending any of it on anything good.
No.
Oh god, poor Gable Stevenson. What are they gonna do to him? Oh, I'm just thinking about it. It's like, we're gonna have him come out. He's gonna be Chad Gable. Chad Gable, and they're gonna fight over the Chad Gable name.
Jesus Christ.
and Shorty G is gonna lose. Oh god, poor Chad Gable. Trevor, we have something in the chat actually talking about how someone had Poirier's wife on his trunks. Rick Rude did that. It says according to MK Osborne, which he did. He had it was Miss Elizabeth. I think it was like Miss Elizabeth. Like, and he had it on his trunks. So I was like, oh, a winner is you, Rick Rude. A winner is you.
That's the one.
MK Osborne says, I like world-class and championship wrestling from Georgia and Memphis. Oh, Trevor loves himself. I haven't watched a lot of championship wrestling from Georgia. I have seen some world-class, which I thought world-class was really good.
World-class was awesome. World-class was, if I'm not mistaken, that's where Roddy Piper.
Von Erichs. It's the Von Erichs.
In the Von Erichs.
Why am I using a Scottish accent for that? It makes no sense.
I don't know.
They're supposed to be Germans.
Exactly.
The Von Erichs.
It still sounds Scottish.
Drew McIntyre.
Anyone German, I don't think I'm gonna try it.
The Von Erichs. Imagine talking like I'm so sorry. I'm like dearly sorry to everyone. To everyone, just everyone.
I don't know what happened this week. We will try better next time.
No. What you shared a clip from Smoky Mountain this week, which I was like,
yeah.
Oh god,
terribleness.
Oh my god, oh dude, oh god. Smoky Mountain wrestling was.
Watch a lot of that stuff.
Dude, dude. Was fun. New Jack calling out the NAACP was like just utterly insane stuff.
And that was a what's his name? Jimmy Cornette promotion.
Oh, you don't say. I couldn't tell. I totally couldn't tell. He's like, well, goddamn, you're gonna go out there. You're gonna say something racist to rile him up. Motherfucker.
He talks about the goddamn NWCP, and poor JR just didn't know what to fucking say.
Oh my god, I forgot, dude. Oh, what do you? Oh god, I will say this, dude. You know what I loved? And I wish one thing I have not gone back and watched that I'm not looking forward to at all is the New Generation. I am not looking forward to watching New Generation wrestling because everyone I know who I ask about it, they're just like, yeah, Bret Hart's great. But everything else is like just garbage, and like I am, and I'm just like, is it worth me like seeing the heyday of Bret Hart to like deal with the Goon? Like, is it worth?
Fucking Goon. It's awful.
Oof, no, this is the worst time to tune in. Like, we don't even know what we're talking about. I have nothing else scheduled. Trevor. Parting thoughts.
This has been a show, guys. This has been a show. Thanks for watching.
A show it has been. Be sure to tune in. Be sure to tune in to Real Take Sports Talk on Wednesday. Be sure to also tune in to our not exclusive. Be sure to tune in to our full preview of AEW Full Gear this Friday night at 7 p.m. live right here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that jazz, youtube.com/Real Take Sports. Also, check out our new website, which is in beta, realtakesports.com. Not officially launched, but you can check it out and give me feedback, hopefully, on it. realtakesports.com. Follow us. Keep the conversation going. Follow us on Twitter at Real Take Sports, Instagram, Real Take Sports Talk, Facebook, Real Take Sports Talk, and follow Trevor and me on our social media platforms, respectively. We have, one more comment from MK Osborne. Says, those are new, Indy.
What?
You got about 10 seconds to clear that up, MK. Trevor, parting thoughts. Again.
I don't know what the fuck happened tonight.
I'm sorry, people. I'm so sorry. It's been one of those nights, but
it's been a lot of fun enough.
We had fun on Tuesday night tomorrow. I'm gonna go bully you later. Oh, because that's what JBL does. We'll see you next week.